52 minutes past the hour right now. Democrats this morning are not the only ones turning their back on President Obama's tax cut deal. He's also coming under fire from some on the right as well.
Yeah, Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann is a Republican from Minnesota. She's also the founder of the Tea Party caucus in the House and finds herself in New York this morning, so we just had to have her in. It's great to see you this morning.
Thank you, John.
So, I mean, we've got to point out, this puts you on rare common ground with many Democrats that you don't like this deal. Why?
It really is. It's strange bedfellows, but we have people coming together, and it's interesting. The Democrats don't like the bill because it doesn't increase taxes enough, and Republicans are concerned because it does increase taxes in certain segments, and it also adds to the deficit, and that's not good. Investors are reacting to the increases in the deficit, and so we're concerned about that. We want to get on a sound financial footing.
Increases taxes?
Yes, it does. On the death tax, the death tax will go up under this measure significantly.
But still, there's an exemption for the first $5 million. So,
well, it's in flux right now as to what it's going to be. We don't know what the
Well, the president's proposal is that there's an exemption.
That's the president's proposal,
right.
And now the Democrats have rejected that, and they want to increase the taxes even more on the death tax. That's kind of their sticking point.
But the president said this morning in an interview with NPR, he's pretty sure that his framework of this deal is what's going to be the bill.
Well, the Democrats rejected it yesterday, so I don't know how that will go through. I think we need a simple up or down vote. Are we going to increase taxes or not? And I think if we put that before the Congress, I don't think we'll end up increasing taxes. I think we'll keep it where it is, and that will put the economy on the best footing. That's the positive about what President Obama was putting forward, the fact that he wanted to continue all the current marginal tax rates. And what that means is what you pay in income tax. He wanted to keep those current, and that would be good. We'd like to see them extended permanently. He wanted them for 2 years. I think we could compromise on a 2-year extension, but not if it means other tax increases. And unfortunately, we have that and some increases to the deficit.
So is your biggest problem with this the fact that there's not enough tax breaks, or is it the fact that it extends unemployment insurance longer, and that it, in some ways, it is a stimulus that is going to add another $900 billion to the deficit?
Yeah, both of those are concerns, because I'm a federal tax lawyer and a business owner, and my main concern really is the increase in taxes, because this has been my life. This is what I've observed. When you increase taxes on people, you get less productivity. What we need right now are jobs. We need to expand our employment birth so that we have more job creation. We won't if we increase taxes on the job creators.
This is a major compromise, I guess you could call it, on the part of the administration, who, I mean, the president ran on eliminating those Bush-era tax cuts for the highest income earners, and now he's willing to let that go for 2 more years. I mean, isn't this in some ways something the Republicans should go for, because it includes a lot of sweeteners, things that Republicans wanted?
It's a good question, but there are 2 things that go along with this. Again, it ramps up spending in a big way, and it also ramps up deficits. And we're seeing a real difficulty with selling the Treasury bonds. And so when you have that kind of a problem, that's not good in the financial market. So we need certainty. Here's the real problem. We've known this was going to come for a long, long time, and we're literally just weeks away from January 1st, and there's no tax tables. There's no tax tables. Congress hasn't passed a budget, we haven't passed spending bills, and we haven't done a tax bill. That's not a good record for the Congress right now. We've got to get the work done.
But just to be clear, the president's plan, as he outlined it, is that something you could sign on to?
No, it isn't, because it increases the deficit too much, increases spending too much, and
But part of the reason why it increases the deficit is because you're maintaining those marginal tax rates through all income levels.
That's right, but remember the definition.
And that's about $450 billion of the projected $900 billion.
And remember, it's a deficit to government, but it's not a deficit to people who get to keep their money. So it's how you frame it. I don't think letting people keep their own money should be considered a deficit.
I understand.
But it is, though, because it adds to the deficit.
No, you're right about that, John, that it is to the government. But remember what we could also be doing right now, cutting back on spending. We've had the biggest increase in spending in the last 2 years that anyone can remember in modern times. If we can also cut back spending to that level, and that's not on the table right now.
Are you opposed to extending unemployment benefits?
It isn't the idea of extending them. It's the idea of, are we going to pay for them or not? It is not paid for, the unemployment benefits. That's a problem. It's also a historic level. We now have unemployment for 2 years. That isn't adding to job creation. What we need to do is focus on a pro-growth, job-creating economy. That's not necessarily what we're seeing.
The Congressional Budget Office, though, is saying that dollar for dollar, the extension of the unemployment benefits is probably the most stimulative element of this for the current economy right now. But you're saying that you're not going to support it if it's not paid for. What could be cut so that people who really, that's their final lifeline, still continue to get a paycheck until they can find a job?
Well, the most stimulative thing that we could do would be to cut taxes on investment and on people who want to create jobs. That's the most stimulative thing we could do, because then we would enhance private spending and private job creation and private job growth. That's where we need to have our focus. Rather than on enhancing more government programs, we need to enhance people being able to retain their money. That's what the stimulus showed us, the $1 trillion spending bill. Government can't spend us into prosperity. We took money out of the private sector, put it into a more inefficient realm, which is government, and we should have kept it in the private sector. We would have been out of the recovery by now if we would have gone that route.
All right, well, we're going to have to...
We would have been in the recovery by now. Sorry, out of the recession, into the recovery.
Do you buy this double-dip recession? Do you think we're going to go into a double-dip recession right now if this isn't passed?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think what we need to do is get serious, be adults, and make sure that we extend all the current tax levels. Don't raise anyone's taxes right now. That will hurt all people at all income levels.
Michelle Bachmann, it's great to see you this morning.
John Roberts, thank you.
Thanks for dropping by.